state's reopening plan is in limbo. Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordering new restrictions on businesses, including bars, because the COVID positive infection rate in that state soared above 10%. And today, Texas has now reported more than 5,000 new cases. Houston alone is seeing more than 1,000 new cases per day. Some perspective on this rapid increase: Texas is the nation's second most populous state, and Houston is America's fourth most populous city. CNN's Alexandra Field is in Houston and joins us now. Tell us what you're learning, Alexandra.
Hey there, Anna. Houston clearly a hot spot now. Officials are warning that the hospitals could be just a week to 3 weeks away from being entirely overwhelmed. Texas Medical Center, just behind me, often billed as the largest medical center in the world, saw their ICU beds hit 100% capacity earlier this week, with about 28% of those beds filled by COVID patients. The governor seemingly trying to put the genie back in the bottle, but tonight there are big concerns that those actions aren't nearly enough. Major turnaround in Texas as COVID cases soar. Governor Greg Abbott, one of the first governors to reopen his state, now taking steps to walk it back. Bars must close but can still serve takeout or delivery. There are new restrictions on restaurant capacity and additional limits on outdoor crowds. Houston is now a hot spot. Some local officials want the governor to do more.
There is no evidence out there to show that anything short of a stay-home order will do. We have barely weeks between 10 and 30 days before we hit capacity if we keep going at these rates.
Here in Harris County, the country's third largest county, the local COVID warning system is being raised to its highest level, severe, indicating an uncontrolled outbreak, a strain on testing and tracing, and a recommendation for people to stay home. It comes as Texas continues to smash its daily record of new confirmed COVID-19 cases. Hospitalizations have been climbing since the middle of June.
We're seeing a trend towards a younger population, both in our community testing as well as who is being admitted to our hospitals.
Some health officials blame the state's early reopening.
As a layering effect, that it layered on top of each other. So first had restaurants at some percentage, and then you had, gyms and hair salons, and then on top of that you had bars, and then restaurants went a higher percentage. Mother's Day, and on top of that you had Memorial Day, then you had, the marches, and you turn around and you've had other graduations.
A pop-up hospital that opened in a Houston parking lot early in the pandemic could soon reopen inside the NRG Center, home to the Houston Texans.
This virus is out of control in Houston. If we don't act to get it under control, very bad, extremely bad things will happen. Sickness, death, our economy progressively getting shut in.
A city that thought the worst was behind them, now facing an even greater challenge. And Anna, as we see these cases skyrocket in Texas, we are also seeing the pattern emerge that has emerged in so many other states around the nation. The new cases largely affecting people in their 20s and 30s. That's one of the reasons that you see the governor going after these gatherings that are happening inside of bars. Also, again, as we've seen throughout the course of this pandemic, as it's ravaged this country, we are seeing that these cases are predominantly affecting Black people and Hispanic people. Anna?
Okay, thank you for all that information, Alexandra Field. We are staying on top of breaking news this hour, what we are learning about Russia and an apparent plot to kill U.S. troops in Afghanistan. You're live in the CNN Newsroom. Stay right there.
What if you could go into the past, back before the fishing line was cast, to see that it was sustainable wild caught, so you can feel good about the fish that you bought? We know the story of all the fish that we've sold, because that's what makes us whole.
Dating can feel like it has a lot of rules, but with eHarmony's new video date feature, you can change that. Date how you want, when you want, and even where you want. Join eHarmony and try video date today.
Walking into a clothing store is a completely different experience for me now.
It's amazing. I'm learning how the brain works, but not just any brain, but my brain.
This is not just some temporary kind of fix. It's psychology.
Visit Noom.com and change your life for good.
Can I find an investment firm with a truly long-term view that's been through multiple market cycles for over 85 years? With Capital Group, I can. Talk to your financial professional or consultant for investment risks and information.
The sun used to make our outdoor patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't even use it.
Then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter opens and closes in under 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And Sunsetters start at under $800.
But you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too. It transforms your outdoors from sweltering sun to shady oasis in just seconds.
Call now for this free awning idea kit, packed with great awning solutions that will let you enjoy your deck or patio much more often this summer. Plus, get this $200 discount certificate that will bring you your Sunsetter for as little as $599.
But this is a limited time offer. Call now.
Sunsetter retractable awnings are assembled in America, and they're guaranteed to last for years. And talk about options. Choose from manual models or motorized for push-button ease with beautiful fabrics to fit every home. You can even add lights for nighttime enjoyment.
No wonder Sunsetter is America's best-selling awning.
Call now to get the whole Sunsetter story. You'll get this free awning idea kit with DVD plus a $200 discount certificate, and there's no obligation.
Hundreds of thousands of families own and love their Sunsetter retractable awning. We're one of them, and you should be too.
Stay cooler and enjoy your deck or patio much more often.
And do it all at $200 off if you call now.
Call now for your free awning idea kit with local dealer info and $200 discount certificate. Life is better under a Sunsetter. Call now and save. Call 1-800-527-1475. 1-800-527-1475.
Are you CIA?
How'd you get here?
I'll send this video to everyone.
Can't you do that?
Yeah, not actually that hard. Or we can cut a deal.
What kind of deal?
The CIA
Teach me how to be a spy.
has a new BFF.
What's first? Obstacle course?
Lie detector test to ultimate tell, slightest wink of an eye.
Like this? I admire all of your tattoos. Damn, she's good.
My Spy.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Advance Auto, Target, Home Depot, Walgreens, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
Breaking news, CNN has learned that Russian military intelligence recently offered cash payments to Taliban militants in Afghanistan in a plot to kill U.S. troops. I want to get right to CNN's Jeremy Diamond at the White House. And Jeremy, what is the White House now saying about all this?
Well, Anna, a European intelligence official told CNN earlier today that this Russian military unit known as the GRU did indeed offer cash rewards to Taliban militants to carry out attacks and kill American or other coalition forces in Afghanistan. Now, the New York Times is also reporting that U.S. officials reached this conclusion several months ago and that President Trump was indeed briefed on these conclusions. The White House, Anna, is denying that the president was briefed on this, but they are not denying the validity of the intelligence itself. Let me read you this statement from the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. She writes, the United States receives thousands of intelligence reports a day, and they are subject to strict scrutiny. While the White House does not routinely comment on alleged intelligence or internal deliberations, the CIA director, the national security advisor, and the chief of staff can all confirm that neither the president nor the vice president were briefed on the alleged Russian bounty intelligence. This does not speak to the merit of the alleged intelligence, but to the inaccuracy of the New York Times story erroneously suggesting that President Trump was briefed on the matter. So again, you can see there the White House very careful in its wording there, denying that the president was briefed on this, but not attacking the credibility of the report as it relates to the intelligence here, which is startling that Russia, a strategic adversary of the United States, would offer cash rewards to Taliban militants to take out American soldiers in Afghanistan. Now, the question on it, if the White House's explanation is to be believed, is why? Why was the president not briefed on something so significant as this? That is a question that the president and the White House will have to answer in the coming days. Anna?
Okay. Jeremy Diamond, thank you. For more, I want to bring in CNN senior political analyst and former advisor to Presidents Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton, David Gergen, and also with us, CNN political analyst and White House correspondent for American Urban Radio Networks, April Ryan. So, former Vice President Biden has now responded to the New York Times report that alleges Russia offered these bounties to Afghan militants to kill U.S. troops. Here he is.
He has this information, according to the Times, and yet he offered to host Putin in the United States and sought to invite Russia to rejoin the G7. His entire presidency has been a gift to Putin. It's a betrayal of every single American family with a loved one serving in Afghanistan or anywhere overseas. And I'm quite frankly outraged by the report.
Again, the White House is now denying the president was briefed on this. But if the New York Times reporting is accurate, this would mean the president was briefed on this in late March. In early May, he announced the U.S. had a great friendship with Russia. And later that same month, he reiterated his desire to invite Russia into the G7. David, you have worked in 4 White Houses. Why wouldn't a president have been briefed on intelligence like this?
He would have been in every single White House that I've ever worked in, and every single White House I know anything about. This is very, very important information. It does affect the relationship with Russia. He would have been briefed instantaneously. It would have been in the materials sent into him, and it would have been discussed with him. And, you know, I think Vice President Biden makes a very good point. And what is raising so many objections on Capitol Hill is that just within the same time frame, the president has extended an olive branch to Putin, inviting him to this G7 meeting over the objections of Chancellor Merkel and others who do not want that to happen. The president stood up for him. And so all of that suggests that this is a much more complicated story, that what we're possibly facing is that the White House, the president was briefed, but he has reasons relating to his reelection and his relationship with Russia that he does not, that he's being very dovish about this. Mike Pompeo, I would imagine, remains his hawkish self on Russia.
April, this is a familiar pattern. The president hits back at everyone, it seems, but Vladimir Putin. Why?
Well, you know, I'm going to piggyback off of what David said. This is a very complicated story, and the devil is in the details and in the weeds. And if this New York Times reporting is true, it shows that this president does not understand what's in the best interest of the American public, particularly the national interest. It also says that those in the national security community that are close to the president, that circulate and surround him, they don't have the power to go tell him, this is wrong, let's move, let's act. We also find that if this reporting is true, that Russia wants to dominate the West. They want to dominate. But the key issue here is the fact that Russia continues to do this. If this is true, Russia continues to do this because they are not being punished. So this is very complicated. And if this president does have a relationship with Putin and all of this is happening, something is deadly wrong. This is deadly. This is a national security issue.
I want to turn to the coronavirus pandemic because, of course, on that other issue, there's a lot more to learn. But right now, our country is facing a serious crisis. And David, the Washington Post reporting this hour that the Trump campaign ordered staffers at his Tulsa rally to remove social distancing stickers. We have video of it. These stickers have been placed on every other seat. This is the same rally where multiple staffers and Secret Service members ended up testing positive. David, what is the calculus here?
You know, the one thing that's common is between the Russian story and this story is in both cases, at the White House, there seems to be a disregard for protecting American lives, that other things seem more important. You know, removing the stickers, putting more people on the ground, having a bigger rallying cry, be able to go to the press and say, look how wonderful we are, seems to be more important than the danger of inviting people into what could be, you know, hospitalization, what could be ultimate death for some people. We've seen this spike occurring in state after state, mostly in the South and the Southeast, that says, you know, there's something we opened way too early on the coronavirus. We're paying a price for it. But where is the regard for life, for protecting people? One other thing is that's just sort of like dumbfounding. You know the vice president's staff has been worried for the last few days about whether he should make these trips to campaign trips this coming week to the West. The vice president, they sent him out yesterday to proclaim how wonderful everything is. And today they've canceled his trips to these places because obviously it's too dangerous to go and have the kind of rally they would like. There is, those two things are in direct contradiction to each other.
Well, and my understanding is, just to be clear, that they canceled the campaign portion of the trip, so there won't be like those special campaign events, but he's supposed to be actually meeting with health officials in those states regarding the pandemic. I do want you guys to take a listen, though, to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell at a town hall just earlier today.
Until we find a vaccine, these are really important. This is a way to indicate that you want to protect others.
You see him holding the mask there. Then you have Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney tweeting this picture of her father wearing a mask with the hashtag "Real Men Wear Masks." And now listen to the vice president just yesterday.
We would just encourage every American to follow the guidelines for all the phases. Continue to practice good hygiene, wash your hands, avoid touching your face, disinfect frequently. People who feel sick should stay home, and when it comes to businesses, social distancing, protective equipment, temperature checks, testing and isolation.
He doesn't even say you should wear a face covering. April, these are, now top Republicans urging Americans to wear masks, and yet the vice president can't bring himself to do it. What is the administration's issue with masks?
It's a political thing, Anna, but you're supposed to lead by example. And at this point, this supports my title of spreader in chief. At the end of the day, the White House right now is trying to protect the president, sanitizing and doing all that they can to keep the president safe. But what about the president keeping us safe? That's the issue. If Dick Cheney, a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, is wearing a mask, they are trying to send a message to not only the American people, but particularly to the party who is supporting President Trump's non-mask wearing self. At the end of the day, this virus, this deadly virus, does not pay attention to politics. Death knows no politics. But when you get to Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney wearing a mask, it's saying this is beyond your amendment rights. This is about your life.
Right. And so, David, you've seen this no mask attitude trickle down to the state level with multiple Republican governors not mandating them despite cases surging. Is this a decision purely based on politics instead of science? And I have to wonder, in what world would this be good politics?
Well, I think it's not good politics. That's one of the reasons that the president's polls have been dropping so sharply here in the last few weeks. People can see what's going on. The American public is a lot smarter than people in Washington think. And what they can see is that the administration has a scientist who tried out one story, and then they bring out others like the vice president and the president himself who sabotage. They sabotage what the scientists are saying. And we now have these roaring big spikes coming back. I thank goodness for Mitch McConnell did speak up. Thank goodness that Dick Cheney did speak up. But now where's the rest of the Republican Party? Where's the leadership in the party? They do bear responsibility as a party for how this unfolds, especially starting at the top in the White House.
David Gergen and April Ryan, thank you as always.
Thank you, Anna.
Coming up, 2020 was supposed to be the year we saw Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. But the Trump administration has other plans. A look at what's behind the delay next.
At BMW, we know leaving the road wasn't easy, but anticipating our return taught us to appreciate every drive. The exhilaration of the ultimate adventure. Moments spent with your favorite co-pilots. And the freedom to explore just because. Our time to rejoin the road is finally here. Get back on the road with 0.9% financing plus no payments for 90 days.
He never really liked his food. He wouldn't eat till like 10 o'clock at night. You know, the typical giant bag, dried little balls. That kind of led me to Farmer's Dog. Now he knows when I open the refrigerator, it's coming. It's already portioned out. He's eating whole foods. It's amazing.
Visit betterforthem.com.
Food delivery just got more rewarding. Now the Grubhub gives you rewards when you order. Did you order tacos? Again? Boom, rewarded with a perk like $5 off. Ordering dinner for the family? Voila, rewarded with free delivery and a side of quiet. Grubhub gives you rewards for rewarding yourself with food.
Harry Mason, what the hell you doing here?
Just looking for justice. This one's really got its hooks in me.
Casper's 4th of July sale is your chance to save on the coolest mattress this summer. With new one-of-a-kind AirScape technology, air moves through so heat stays out, and you can stay asleep. There you go. Save 10% on a Casper mattress with new AirScape technology. If you don't sleep cooler, we'll pick it up and refund you everything. That's the Casper 100-night trial. Try it today at Casper.com.
Introducing Schwab Stock Slices. For as little as $5, now anyone can own companies in the S&P 500, even if their shares cost more. At $5 a slice, you could own 10 companies for $50 instead of paying thousands. All commission-free online. Schwab Stock Slices, an easy way to start investing or to give the gift of stock ownership. Schwab, own your tomorrow.
Some small businesses don't have storefronts. Their office is a truck, and their workplace is your home. You won't find them on Main Street, but for over 20 years, you've been able to find them on HomeAdvisor. Book the best local pro for any home project, online or with the app.
To relieve aches and inflammation in your hands, get TheraWorks Relief for joint discomfort and inflammation. This powerful duo of anti-inflammatory foam and medical-grade compression is clinically shown to reduce joint pain. Get a $4 coupon at GetRelief.com.
Tomorrow, former National Security Advisor John Bolton joins Jake to discuss the fallout from his explosive new book. Plus guests Alex Azar and Tim Scott. State of the Union, live tomorrow at 9.
Much more ahead here on Newsmax. I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. That was just fake news. You are fake news.
Fake news is a real problem. That's why millions turn to Newsmax.
Newsmax is a powerful organization, good organization.
Real news for real people. Honest analysis. Real reporting on the issues that matter most. No bias, no BS. Don't fall for the fake news. Get the facts. Newsmax. Real news for real people.
I was mandated to close March 24th. Everything had just completely canceled.
To do what I do best, build, dance.
I'm gonna do a mural. Gonna go dig. We're gonna be printing this on color shirts.
I'm Josh Campbell in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this is CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
Mesothelioma is all we do. For over 10 years, we have offered a free book on mesothelioma. Call 1-800-400-2802.
We saw weeks of mass protests across the U.S. after the video of an officer with his knee on George Floyd's neck shocked the world. But the reason police confronted Floyd in the first place was because he was suspected of using a counterfeit $20 bill, a bill that was supposed to feature abolitionist Harriet Tubman this year, until that release was pushed back by the Trump administration. CNN's Laura Coates reports.
It's a name the president often invokes when talking about American heroes.
Harriet Tubman, Harriet Tubman, Harriet Tubman.
But the president has stopped short of memorializing her heroism by replacing Andrew Jackson on the front of one of our most widely circulated currency notes, the $20 bill.
I think it's pure political correctness. Andrew Jackson had a great history, and I think it's very rough when you take somebody off the bill.
First, speaking of history, President Andrew Jackson was a slaveholder and signed legislation removing Native Americans from their land. Nevertheless, Trump has long admired Jackson, visiting his home in Nashville.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
And moving his portrait to the Oval Office, where he even hosted a group of Navajo veterans right in front of that painting.
You were here long before any of us were here.
Second, no one sought to remove Andrew Jackson from the bill entirely. A redesigned bill simply moves him to the back of the bill and features Harriet Tubman on the front. This decision came during the Obama administration, a decision that was also voted on by Americans, initiating a timeline to unveil the bill's redesign in 2020, coinciding with the 100th anniversary of women winning the right to vote. 4 years later, the plans for release have been pushed back a decade. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin telling reporters earlier this month this is something that is in the distant future, that the new bill wouldn't be released until 2030. So what accounts for the delay? Mnuchin claims it's security concerns.
This is a non-political situation where the primary objective of changing the currency is to stop counterfeiting.
But when pressed, Mnuchin couldn't explain why the imagery would still be delayed.
So yes or no, will you meet what was originally the 2020 redesign deadline?
We will meet the security feature redesign in 2020. The imagery feature will not be an issue that comes up until most likely 2026.
Protesters have accelerated the discussion, making clear which images they believe fully represent America's heritage and which do not. In Richmond, Virginia, the former capital of the Confederacy, Robert E. Lee's statue was covered with the projected image of Harriet Tubman. But here at Lafayette Park, across from the White House, Andrew Jackson's remains protected. Protesters tried to topple it, but then these fences went up. The president now saying they're going to increase protection of these statues, saying we shouldn't erase our heritage. But whose heritage? And why shouldn't Harriet Tubman be included in it?
She is our most outstanding female patriot.
And symbolically, what does it say when there is a reluctance for now to even allow her to share the bill?
It is so sad, this idea that by even sharing a little bit of that historical real estate, that somehow the insecure folks will feel that their story is lost.
At a time when the nation is searching for its moral compass, the image of one woman guided by the North Star would speak volumes, and in a language all Americans understand. After all, money talks.
That was Laura Coates. 2020 is becoming a year of historic change in the fight for racial equality in America. For some, it is reminiscent of another year. Don't miss the special CNN original series event, 1968, featuring back-to-back episodes starting tonight at 10 Eastern. That does it for me tonight. I'm Ana Cabrera. My colleague, Wolf Blitzer, picks up our coverage after a quick break. Thanks for being here. Have a good night.
Want to brain better? Unlike ordinary memory supplements.
Matthew 7 says, asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, and do unto others as you would have done unto you. Matthew 6 says, if we forgive those that have sinned against us, we will be forgiven. But if we do not forgive them, we will not be forgiven. Luke 6 says to love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, lend to them, and don't be concerned that they might not repay.